Howdy, toy fans, Aaron here. Sorry it's been so long. I blinked and it's been over a year already. So, hey, anyways, we're getting back to it, and today taking a look at the new Republic E-Wing and KE4-N4 figure. This was released in the fall of 24. Here's a look at the front of the box. Great image of the vehicle and that included droid up front. Up top, you do have that Star Wars Ahsoka branding to represent the show that this was seen in. You got the new Republic E-Wing and KE4-N4 branding on the upper left. Near the top right of the packaging, you've got an image of the included carded KE4-N4 figure and that little notation that it is indeed included. Bottom left, another image of the vehicle and included figure. Here's a quick look on the right side of the packaging. Two images here, more canopy related, one with it slid forward, and then another image giving you a bit of an interior shot. Left side of the packaging, still that branding carries on. And then you got an image of the landing gear being placed down, and a little shot of KE4 in the droid socket there near the back. On the top, you've got a big image here. Basically, it looks the same as what you have on the front of the box, and the same thing happening on the bottom. On the back of the box, basically everything's the same here, but you do have your edition of the Star Wars Vintage Collection logo, Disney logo, Hasbro logo, and such in the back. Getting this thing opened up, here's a look at how the vehicle and carded figure are packaged. Everything is held in place really well. That card looks like it's also very nicely protected. You have a little bit of assembling to do, which is not so surprising. You have an included instruction sheet to help you out with that. And here it is all assembled and out of the box. Of course, the assembly was quite simple. Just snap the wings on each side. You can't mess that up. And attach the cannons on the bottom of the outer part of the wing. Let's get some of the details of this vehicle out of the way. Overall, it measures about 17 3/8 of an inch long from front of the ship to back of the vehicle, including these little tabby things that stick out. Highest point of the vehicle with the landing gear down is about 5 inches. And edge to edge of the wing is 15.5 inches. And I think overall scale of this is quite nice. In terms of the look of the vehicle, oh, I am so mixed on this. The sculpt is great. You have some exposed detailing on each side of the vehicle, just under the canopy, and a little bit of detailing up in the front. Similar detailing along the backside where the droid sits. You have a very nice blue paint application being done, and that seems to hit all the appropriate areas. The long blue along the side of the vehicle. It's some blue on the front top, and of course some blue accent painting along the edges of the wing on the outer parts. Otherwise, in terms of painting, I'd say everything that you're seeing in dark gray is painted as such. Silver painting along the canopy looks great. You have a touch of silver also up front. Beyond that, everything else appears to be done in the molded color of the plastic. So this off-white color, light gray, if you will, of the, I guess, the primary color of the vehicle. So that's the molded color. The gray for those detailed parts that are showing along the front edge, along the side, is also molded plastic color. Touches of silver on the wing. And no stickers applied, but I think all these little detailings of red markings, you got some of the Arabic letters painted in on the sides underneath where the droid sits, and you can barely see it, but there is some silver painted in on the engines as well. And you got a touch of black weathering done on the outer edges of the back of the engines and beyond that, and you have an ever so slight splattering of black paint on the sides of I think this is the proton torpedo launcher. I don't know, kind of the way it's molded, it seems like it would shoot the side of the vehicle first. But anyways, you do have a little touch of black paint in there. No other weathering applications. And to me, that's a bit of a bummer to not see. Over the years, I've gotten quite used to the vintage collection vehicles having that world-worn kind of weathering applied. So I'm really disappointed not to see that here. Otherwise, though, beyond the gripe of the kind of missing weathering of the paint applications, I'd say one thing that just drives me up a wall is why does this canopy stick up in the front? I suppose maybe it's to give it room to slide forward, but I don't know, it just seems like it should sit down. And when I opened it, I thought it was flat, and I didn't notice it until I had already slid the canopy forward to open it and moved it back. So I don't know, maybe I did something, but I just don't like that it doesn't sit flat. Otherwise, like I said, everything else about the vehicle I do think looks great. Good detailing along the front edge of the wing where you've got some thickness there to it. Detailing inside the engines on the front, those fan blades. Along the top of the vehicle, very nice detailing to the sculpt through there. This top back section does open up, and that's how you insert your included droid, or really, as you'll see in a little bit, I just grabbed a R2-D2 and slid them in there just fine. Aside from that, you got like a little storage compartment in there if you want, and even just a little bit of detail sculpting being done on the flat parts of that storage area. Detailing of the back section of the body looks really good as well. One thing to keep in mind is these two little small detail pieces that are sticking out on the side. Very soft plastic. Mine's already kind of bent up a little bit from being in the box. I'm sure a little bit of heat or something will reset that, but just be aware that's very soft plastic. Bottom side of the vehicle, nothing overly crazy. Panel detailing and such, everything you'd kind of expect to see on the underside. Landing gear folds down and is covered with the doors. I love that that's a feature that they've been doing lately. Same with the front, folds down and two little doors cover that. And then bottom side of the engine, some decent detailing being done for the sculpt, and that silver painting in there. Doesn't really stand out all that well, but it's still a nice touch. Looking at the interior of the cockpit, as I mentioned, that canopy top does slide forward. It's a little bit tight, but give it a wiggle and you'll eventually get that slid forward, and you can even just pull that off if you want. You got some raised stuff sculpted in behind the seat. As far as the seat itself, just basic leather interior detailing maybe. Some pretty basic button detailing along the armrests of the canopy, and then you've got your flight joystick controller in there. Nothing really special about that, and your basic console detailing, a silver screen painted in, but nothing extra painted. I did not have an opener figure for the pilot of this vehicle, but I grabbed a Vintage Collection Luke Skywalker. No problem getting him in there. He fits just fine. Canopy closes up as well, so that's all great. And then for the droid part, I'm not opening my figure quite yet. I like to keep him on the card. I always like having one on the card for sure, so he's not getting opened. But I did grab just a random R2-D2, and that fits in just fine. Top section closes in right around his shoulders, and he's not going to go anywhere. And then speaking of that included droid, here it is on the card. This is how it comes in the box. You get KE4-N4 on that Vintage Collection release. Star Wars Ahsoka branding up top with his name in the bubble just below that. Great looking image of the droid sticking out of the top of the E-Wing. You see a little bit of Lothal in the background, and then of course through the blister. Great look at the included action figure. I'd say the detailing, everything is what you would expect from an astromech droid. It appears that that dome matches up quite well with how it looked in the show. And the rest of that body done, of course, in the white color of the plastic. Some dark green painted in, little bits of yellow highlights and touches of black. Based on what I see, it looks like your basic astromech droid figure release. Backside of the card, I haven't looked at a backside of the card on this channel yet since they've redone it, and I like what I'm seeing. I'm glad we're back to focusing on the figure that you're getting. You got a great image, of course, of what you already see on the front of the card anyways, with the droid highlighted. Quick little write-up about KE4 being an astromech droid for the New Republic on Lothal. And top right corner, you can see is VC341 in the lineup. Bottom half of the card is legal information. So yeah, that was probably a quick one. I don't know. I haven't done this in a year. It felt quick. Overall for me, like I said, great looking vehicle in terms of sculpt. Love the blue accent. Hate the canopy doesn't go all the way down in the front. And I do miss the weathering being applied to this vehicle. Just a little bit would have helped to make it feel kind of a little bit more premium, which it seems like the Vintage Collection should be or has made itself out to be, especially since you're putting down $100 for it. This feels a little more kind of the Clone Wars Legacy Collection era of vehicles where they were still pretty clean, but you were getting some okay detailing. So it's a mix of looking at a toy and looking at something mildly high-end, I guess. But yeah, honestly, it's just great to see the vehicle get a release. So that's going to wrap this one up. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on both the figure and the vehicle in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching. Let's hope it won't be a year until the next video.